Yo, 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 what up? Good morning. Grateful for another maggot free day above the dirt. Jersey Shore, check it out. So, the next section of videos is on the conduct practices: wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood. So, we left off in the last video. I was talking about how having a wise understanding of the Dharma, the nature of suffering and existence and our place in it, and then our thinking rooted in that would create intention. And that intention is what creates our conduct. So the conduct practices, I'm going to break them into 3 videos, so I'll keep them short and sweet. And wise speech is the first conduct practice. Now, the general rule of thumb is we try not to cause harm in these 3 practices: wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood. We try not to cause harm. And this seems like it would be really easy to do, but if we're not clear about our intention, if we're not rigorously honest with our agenda and our motives, then things that we think are helpful can be harmful, and things that we thought and didn't do that because we thought they'd be harmful might have been helpful. So it's really not about the action, it's about the intention behind it. So getting to wise speech, the teachings talk about 3 areas: to refrain from false speech, harsh speech, and idle speech. So false speech, yeah, of course it's lying, but most of us don't walk around telling, these huge horrific lies and are not living a life of, complete deceit and fraud. So there's a much more subtle, nuanced level of false speech where false speech could be manipulating the facts to to create something, to create what appears to be something true when it's not, or it could be omitting facts where where we leave it up to the person to come to their conclusion about what we're saying, but without all the facts, they're coming to an untrue conclusion. So that's false speech. Harsh speech, of course, we can say some really mean, harsh shit, right? So harsh speech, yes, is speech that comes out of anger and resentment and hate. But again, there's another subtle level of harsh speech, which is actually healthy, which means that sometimes we need to tell someone we love the truth. So if our intention is to, because we're compassionate and kind and we're caring about them and we love them and we want to save them from harm or help them prevent further harm in their life, we might need to tell them the truth. Now, this is really difficult because most of the time when you tell someone a truth they don't want to hear, they get defensive, angry, retaliate back at you. And so it's their perception it's harsh because it's a truth they don't want to hear. But it's not harsh on our part because we're really doing it out of the right intention. But again, each of us must be very, very honest with ourselves if that intention is truly healthy and wholesome. And now the next one is idle speech, and that's the huge one. Idle speech is gossip. Idle speech is speech that serves no purpose, right? So talking about, video games and movies and just stuff that's really not too important. And it's okay to talk about that stuff, but when you're consumed with it and spending so much time talking about it, it becomes idle and unproductive, and it robs you of the opportunity to do something else in that moment more productive, right? So the teachings guide us to refrain from false, harsh, or idle speech, to speak only when it's true, useful, and do it in an appropriate manner, meaning being very conscious of our tone and inflection. And the reality is, if we were practicing wise speech to its maximum, most of us would be silent 99.9% of the time. So a great exercise that I was directed to do back in the day was to try to stay silent for 24 hours or a day. Not on the cushion though, not during meditation, not by chanting or doing other things to replace speech, but to be silent as you carry out your normal day interacting with people. So I know it's tough at work, and so you pick a day where you're going to interact with people. Maybe it's a weekend, maybe it's not a full day. And obviously right now we really can't do that. But we can practice silence by maybe not doing a lot of things we're doing during this time that we're forced to stay alone and not interact. So I hope that's helpful. And the next video we'll move on to wise action. So hope you have a grateful, maggot-free day above the dirt, and check out this sunrise coming up. Peace out.